The Roundtable presents Spotlight on the Vanished. Real stories, real children. Trenton Duckett. 19 years later, the disappearance of Trenton Duckett still haunts Florida.
Hello. Hi, what is Trenton wearing, honey? I don't know. He was ready for bed.
A young mother reports an unimaginable crime, the kidnapping of her son, 2-year-old Trenton Duckett. Someone cut through this window screen and opened a bedroom window where the toddler had been sleeping. Now he was gone.
You don't know what you dressed him in before you went to bed? He might have had his shoes off.
That chilling phone call was made from this very apartment back in 2006. Nearly 2 decades later, people in this community are still asking, where's Trenton? He's never been found. This is what Trenton Duckett looked like when he vanished. And this is what Trenton Duckett might look like today as a young adult. Some people, including his family, are still holding out hope.
19 years have passed since 2-year-old Trenton Duckett vanished from his mother's apartment in Leesburg, Florida, on the evening of August 27, 2006. What began as a frantic search for a missing toddler has since become one of the most haunting and tragic missing child cases in the state's history. Trenton, a biracial child of Korean and Caucasian descent, was last seen wearing a blue and green striped shirt, denim shorts, and a diaper. Standing 3 foot tall and weighing about 35 pounds, he was described as a happy and curious child.
Alert is out for this 2-year-old boy who was missing from Leesburg. Trenton Duckett's mother reported him missing last night from their home. First News reporter Samantha Knapp is live at the Leesburg Police Department with the latest information. And Samantha, at this point, investigators believe foul play was involved.
They do. They actually looked at the window of the bedroom that this 2-year-old was sleeping in at about 7 o'clock was the last time his mother saw him. And when they looked at that window, they saw some suspicious sort of signs that maybe someone forced their way into that window. So right now, police are taking this case very, very seriously. One parent was home at the time with this 2-year-old. She said she saw him again at about 7 o'clock at night. Then 2 hours later, when she went to go check on him in that bedroom, he was not there. It's unclear if she heard or saw anything suspicious during the hours leading up to the 2-year-old's disappearance. Bloodhounds have tried to pick up a scent near the apartment at 1416 Griffin Road and anywhere in the area, but so far have been unsuccessful.
His mother, 21-year-old Melinda Duckett, told authorities she had put her son to bed around 7 p.m. at the Windermere Apartments on Griffin Road. When she checked on him 2 hours later, his bed was empty. A slit window screen in the bedroom initially suggested the possibility of an abduction. Police at first urged the public to help search for the boy, but as the investigation progressed, questions began to shift toward those closest to him. At the time of Trenton's disappearance, Melinda and his father, Joshua Duckett, were in the midst of a bitter divorce and custody battle. Both parents had accused the others of violence and instability, with allegations of abuse and threats exchanged in the months leading up to the boy's disappearance. Court records show Trenton had spent much of his short life either in foster care or with his great-grandparents.
Can you put into words for people how this has impacted your life?
Everything's upside down. But if I don't keep myself together, at least during the day, keeping in contact with the authorities, particularly the FBI, answering any questions that I have, participating in absolutely everything that I possibly get my hands on as far as they go, then I'm not doing any good. And I have to be doing something to help with him.
Did you have anything to do with it?
Absolutely not.
You were with him all day Saturday and all day Sunday?
Right. I had stopped down at family houses and stuff like that, but yes.
I asked Melinda about her missing son, but the conversation kept shifting back to her.
I go into the grocery store and people recognize me in there. It's absolutely bizarre.
I'm sure you know, I mean, a lot of people are questioning whether you had something to do with this.
Oh, I understand that. I do.
Could you harm your own child?
No. No.
Then I asked Melinda how her son's abductor should be punished.
If someone does something to your family, I mean, why wouldn't you want something to happen to them to go to jail or something like that? Or I don't care. I just want my life to go back to normal.
And that's when our interview abruptly came to an end. But 2 days later, Melinda would appear on TV once again.
Where were you? Why aren't you telling us where you were that day? You were the last person to be seen with him.
CNN talk show host Nancy Grace invited Melinda to phone into her program.
We just shopping, going around, driving.
Shopping where?
Well, we didn't go anywhere specific.
Well, I mean, if you went shopping, you had to go into a store. What store did you go into?
I wasn't getting any specifics.
Joshua Duckett cooperated with investigators and passed the polygraph test. Melinda, however, refused to take one and failed a voice stress analysis, adding to suspicion. Detectives discovered sonogram images, photographs, and toys belonging to Trenton discarded in her trash.
Melinda Duckett reporting her then 2-year-old son Trenton missing. Hours later, detectives discovered dozens of personal effects, including a sonogram, baby pictures, and clothes, birthday cards, toys, and bed linens, all thrown away in the dumpster behind Melinda Duckett's home. That, sources say, turned the focus of the investigation to Melinda.
Melinda's own story and the hours surrounding her son's disappearance raised further questions. She told her attorney that she had taken her son and a shotgun to a shooting range in Ocala National Forest that day and had driven around aimlessly for hours after becoming lost. Witnesses later reported seeing her alone in Leesburg during the same time frame. Then tragedy deepened the mystery. Just 13 days after Trenton was reported missing, Melinda Duckett was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound in a closet at her grandparents' Lady Lake home. She left behind 2 notes, one addressed to the public, professing her love for her son, but offering no clues to his whereabouts. Her death came just 1 day after a high-profile interview with the television host Nancy Grace, who pressed her sharply about inconsistencies in her story. In the aftermath, Melinda's parents filed a wrongful death suit against Grace and CNN, alleging their daughter had been driven to suicide by public humiliation. The case was later settled with CNN establishing a $200,000 trust fund dedicated to the search for Trenton.
At the time I interviewed her, I did not go into the interview suspecting Melinda Duckett. Typically, if there's any wrongdoing within the home with a child disappearance, it's typically the father, the man, the boyfriend, the live-in, the estranged boyfriend. First, if you look back at the interview, started questioning Josh. And I questioned him pretty hard until I was satisfied that he had cooperated with police, he had endured an interrogation by police, he had submitted to a polygraph, all his friends had talked to police that alibied him, and the police had also told me that they had checked out the alibi. When I began questioning Melinda Duckett, I did not go into it thinking Melinda Duckett would turn out the way she did. When she refused to answer questions, refused to give her whereabouts, a timeline, to even state yes or no she had taken a polygraph, and to lay blame in every different direction, I sensed immediately that something was very, very wrong.
Before taking her own life, Melinda Duckett left behind a 2-page handwritten letter expressing the pain, anger, and despair she felt as the search for her missing son, Trenton Duckett, too, became overshadowed by rumors and criticisms. Your focus came off my son, the 21-year-old mother wrote in the note addressed to the public. I love him, and I only wanted him safe in my arms. You created rumors and twisted words. Duckett, who was under heavy media scrutiny following her son's disappearance on August 27, 2006, left the unsigned letter on the dashboard of her silver 2000 Mitsubishi Eclipse, parked at her grandparents' home. Authorities say she then retrieved her grandfather's shotgun, went into a closet, and fatally shot herself on September 8, 2006.
Bob, they sure have been. They've been paying a lot of attention to this silver Mitsubishi. We couldn't get close enough to read the plate on it, but investigators were taking a very, very close look. As you can see, there's also an FDLE van here, CSI crime scene van on scene. Detectives are searching the area. They're also combing the area around the adjoining houses. So they're paying a lot of attention. They're giving a lot of attention to this investigation. We've seen police officers going 2, 3, 4, 5 houses away, checking things, making sure they have all the evidence they can get. This is still an ongoing investigation. It's going to be a long while before we get all the details out. And when we do, we will let you know. This is Sharp AM live in Sky 6. Back to you.
The letter, which police confirmed Saturday, revealed both her despair and her enduring love for Trenton. I have felt myself sinking after 1 week mark of Trent being gone, she wrote. I love him dearly, and he is all I was breathing for. He was and always will be my essence, and as he grows, I want him to know that. In another passage, Duckett pleaded with the public, I only wish you do not do that push anyone else. The death occurred one day after Duckett appeared on CNN Headline News, where talk show host Nancy Grace grilled her about refusing a polygraph test and her whereabouts the day Trenton vanished. Leesburg Captain Jenny Paget said investigators could not conclude from the letter whether Trenton is still alive. I think she was expressing her feelings at the time, Paget said. I didn't glean anything from it that would lead us to Trenton. Family members say Duckett had been overwhelmed by the pressure of the investigation and intense media spotlight. Her ex-husband, Joshua Duckett, Trenton's father, found one section of the note encouraging. That kind of stands out to me, he said, of the part mentioning Trenton growing up. It gives us a little more hope. Detectives admitted Duckett had been their prime suspect and said they could have arrested her within days of Trenton's disappearance, but held off, hoping she might lead them to the child. In addition to the public letter, Duckett left other notes containing apologies and message of love to her parents Jerry and Beth Eubank of Lockport, New York, and her grandparents Bill and Nancy Eubank of the Villages. To them she wrote, her heart was always in the right place, but her reasonings was off at times, and promised they would be together again one day. Following Melinda's death, police named her as the prime and only suspect in her son's disappearance.
She held the answers to a lot of stuff, and she obviously took that with her when she committed suicide. And, that was definitely hard, not only on the case, but it was also hard on me. It was hard on my family.
Over the years, the vigil has gotten smaller, but the family hopes this reminds the community of their search for answers.
We don't want them to give up hope. We want them to stay just as motivated as us because, somebody has the answers, and eventually the answers will come out.
Tell us how you're holding up these days.
I'm holding up pretty well. Just as well as can be expected. I've got a strong support group, good friends and good family that's sticking behind me.
Can you describe what you've been going through the last couple of weeks at all?
It's been rough, but, it hurts a lot because, I don't know where my son's at. I think that's the worst part, would have to be not knowing. And then on top of that, the other events that's happened this far, there was bad blood between me and Melinda, but regardless of the bad blood, she's still the mother of my child, and obviously you don't stop loving someone overnight.
Authorities stopped short of declaring Trenton deceased, but stated they no longer believed he had been kidnapped by a stranger. They also ruled out the possibility that he'd be sent abroad to South Korea, where Melinda was born, before being adopted by a New York family.
While many assume Trenton is dead, either intentionally or by accident, there is no proof of that. Police have never found any blood or other evidence that conclusively shows Trenton was harmed.
There's nothing to indicate any sign of trauma has occurred, so nothing of that nature.
And that gives Trenton's dad hope his son might still be alive.
Until they can show me something else, there's nothing else to go on other than he's out there somewhere, and we have to continue to push the effort to try and find him.
This age-progressed photo shows what Trenton might look like now as a young adult.
For nearly 2 decades, investigators have pursued hundreds of leads, but no confirmed trace of Trenton has ever surfaced. His disappearance remains officially classified as an endangered missing child case. Joshua Duckett continues to hold out hope that his son is still alive. Someone out there knows something. What happened that night? He has said in past interviews. Until there's proof otherwise, I'll keep searching.
If she handed him off, why did she do it?
Control. Her whole thing was controlling. She's still controlling my life even though she's no longer here.
Josh believes Melinda's friends have not told detectives everything they know about Trenton's disappearance. You think people are still holding back information?
I definitely think there's people out there that have information that's not saying, and no matter what the outcome, we want answers. You become kind of a public figure at that point where literally everything you do is scrutinized.
As the 19th anniversary of Trenton's disappearance approaches, law enforcement, advocates, and family members continue to urge the public to come forward with any information that could finally solve the case. Trenton Duckett would be 21 years old today. Anyone with information is urged to contact the Leesburg Police Department at 352-787-2121.